Okay, welcome to another edition of Real Estate Investor Talk, and I'm standing here next to Jeff Zidel. Jeff is the Vice Chairman of Fortress Income Fund. He's also Director of NEPI, a number of other companies in the group, and he's a veteran in the property industry. He's started in the game more than 40 years ago, and Jeff has got such a wonderful story in property and such a great success story. First of all, Jeff, thank you very much for the opportunity. So tell us a little bit about your start in property. Where did it all start?
Okay, where it all started is we had an estate agency business within the family.
Right.
And I joined the business, and that was on the West Rand in Florida area.
Right.
And from there we were looking after selling of residential, managing residential, building houses, and things were going pretty well.
Right.
A couple of years later, I saw a great opportunity within development side.
Right.
So we were doing a couple of small developments on the retail side, and I saw there was an opportunity within Lesotho.
Mm-hmm.
And what was happening within Lesotho, which what made Lesotho pretty interesting, is that there was a deal done with the miners, right? Which were the Lesotho miners were probably the best returning rate out of any of the miners on the South African mine.
Wow.
So if they came from anywhere else after one of their stints underground, they'll say, we'll never go back. Okay, the Lesotho guys used to come back, and they got trained up and became the shaft sinkers and the diamond guys and whatever. And a deal was then done with the South African government, the Lesotho government, as well as the miners. And 2/3 of their money got paid to the families back home, and a third got paid to them. So that was like a really first nice boost. So we got involved in terms of building shopping centres within rural Lesotho.
Fantastic.
We built subsequent to that in Nasiru, and that's been a pretty good one for us.
Okay, Jeff, so just tell us what happened then after Lesotho's opportunity came away.
So still, kept the estate agency business. In fact, we did the very first sectional title that was ever done in the good old Transvaal.
Right.
And we did a lot of sectional title. And I learned one massive lesson from that. Sectional title was unbelievable. We made a lot of money on that. And if you'd stuck only to sectional title, a couple of years later, you couldn't give away a unit. So a good lesson was learned.
Why was sectional title at that time such a great opportunity?
It was basically the affordable housing. So at the end of the day, it just brought the cost down in terms of, there we had one or two unbelievable developments that we did, existing buildings, cut them up. In fact, we had one of them, we had a building society as a partner, and then we sold it to them. And so finance was no problem, demand was massive. In fact, that one we sold 148 units in something like 3 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
So where was the next move after that?
Okay, after that, what my biggest problem was is that our estate agency business was much too personal. Our clients were our friends. If they came to collect their rent check, they used to pop in, and well, it was great. So when I was busy doing developments and going all over Lesotho as well as some of the other country towns and all the rest of it, I used to come back. Those days there was no computers, there were no cell phones, so I'd get back to the office and there would be 4 pages of messages, and I'd get back to my clients, and everything they asked me, I had excellent staff, they could have got it all from there. Anyway, so eventually I sold that business, and I basically kind of retired. I was doing my developments, and I opened an office, one little office in a wing in Hyde Park Shopping Centre.
Right.
And Nandos started in those offices. And Max Brosen was there, Laurie Brosen, Robbie Brosen, Eric Parker. Yeah, they're all there in that same office. And one of the things we realized is that they really were missing quite a lot when it came to property. So I'd be sitting there and I'd be saying to them, why aren't you going to this development? These guys are developing, why aren't you doing this? Or if they had a problem with building line restriction, they never realized the time thing. So eventually we did a joint venture, and I was quite involved with them from about 6 or 8 stores up to about 120. In fact, I had probably more fun then than anything else. Because
so what was the model for the stores? How did...
Nandos was like the flavor of the month. So the developers were keen to get Nandos in, and we were either building Nandos stores, or we were renting them out. So I was heading that up and pushing that, and we had quite a nice scenario. So that actually worked out particularly well.
And where did things move from there?
Okay, so from there, we looked, looking at what was happening worldwide. Listed property was doing tremendously well in Australia. It was doing tremendously well in the US. Canada was starting up as well, and we thought, why is it like a non-event here? Didn't really seem to make sense. So there was already a couple of property companies there. I knew Des de Beer for donkey's years. I knew him long before he was at Nedbank. Anyway, at that stage he was at Nedbank, and together with he and Barry Stuller, who was also doing his own property stuff, we got together and we decided there seemed to be a good opportunity. We had Nedbank that wanted to get involved. Initially we formed a management company, and we got going, and that got listed on the 6th of December 2002.